Everything you're about to do, someone has already tried. That's the part that should scare you. It's 4:11 a.m. in Las Vegas, and you're down to your last chip. Not your last few thousand. Your last chip. One orange disc, $1,000, sweating in your palm under lights built to never turn off. 6 hours ago, you had a life. A good one. You're 34. You sell industrial parts for a distributor outside Columbus, Ohio. Good at it, bored by it. You flew out Tuesday for the annual convention, a keynote, a booth, 2 dinners, a handshake. You were supposed to fly home Thursday, back to a quiet house, and a girlfriend who still texts you good morning. But the convention hotel keeps its casino between the elevators and the front door, right where you have to walk through it. And 14 years ago, broke in college, you sat at a table just like this one, and lost a semester's tuition in 90 minutes. You never told anyone the truth about that night. That right before the floor dropped out, you'd never felt so awake. You told yourself you'd grown out of it. You just wanted to watch. You buy in for $5,000. Just to feel the chips again. Red. You win. $10,000. You let it ride. Red again. $20,000. Your heart does one hard thump, the old thump, the one you missed. You tell yourself you'll cash out at $25,000 and go to bed. You don't. By midnight, you're up $90,000 and you're 20 again. Electric, certain. By 2 a.m., the table has taken back the $90,000 and $60,000 of your own on top of it. So you do the math every drowning man does. Double to recover. The cage makes it easy. They make everything easy. 120,000. Then the line of credit. Then the number you don't say out loud. By the third night, it adds up to 340,000. Gone. Numbers on a screen. Moved from your column to theirs. You don't put the last chip down. You walk out into the desert heat, and somewhere under the panic, you start thinking. Because here's the secret the pit bosses pray you never learn. The wheel isn't magic. The ball isn't fate. It's a physics problem. A heavy rotor spinning one way, a ball bleeding speed the other. Gravity pulling it down on a schedule. People have solved it before, and every one of them got caught the same way. They were carrying a device, a computer in a shoe, a scanner in a phone. You won't be carrying anything. Your brother builds neural implants, the kind that quiet a seizure before it starts. He's the one who picks up at 5 a.m. when you call, and doesn't say I told you so. So here's how it works. It comes in 2 pieces. A smart contact lens that sits on your eye and reads the wheel, the spin, the ball, everything moving too fast for a human to track. And a chip behind your ear that does the timing your eyes never could in the half second before the croupier waves the table shut. The lens watches, the chip does the math. You just place the bet. The clever part is the lens. It's cut from the same soft, clear polymer your brother's lab uses for implants meant to live inside a body for years. Vegas runs the most paranoid surveillance on Earth. To every camera they own, the lens reads as nothing. As I. There's nothing on you to find. Because the cheat is you. The system isn't perfect. When your pulse climbs past 140, the picture stutters and drops for a beat. And in a casino, with your money on the felt, your heart does not stay below 140. Not unless you teach it to. Remember that. It matters later. 6 weeks later, you're back. With a thin scar behind your left ear and something on your eye no one can see. You sit at a small table off the main floor and buy in for $2,000. Small, forgettable. The wheel spins. And behind your eyes, in the part of you that used to just watch, something reads the wheel, holds its breath, and lights up a number you didn't choose. You bet the ring of pockets around it. The ball drops 2 away. It's not cheating, you tell yourself. It's physics. You just stopped being the side the house bets against. And here's where the old you would have lost it all again. Shoved everything back on the next spin, chasing the thump. But the old you didn't have an edge. You do now. And an edge doesn't need to be greedy. An edge needs patience. So you do the hardest thing you've ever done at a table. You go slow. You stop being a gambler and start being a system. You bet like a tired convention goer, a little, a lot, a little. You win 3, then you lose 1 on purpose. When you lose on purpose, you lose small. You never win twice big at the same wheel. You tip the dealer. You learn what the pit bosses really watch for. Not winners, patterns. A man who only wins is a problem. A man who wins a little more than he loses, slowly, while grumbling about his luck, is just another Tuesday. So you become Tuesday. 4 casinos. Short sessions. You walk away up 3 grand when every nerve is screaming for 30. And the pulse? You train it like an athlete. Slow breathing in the elevator. Eyes off the stack. Because the calmer you are, the better the lens sees, and the better it sees, the calmer you get to be. For the first time in your life, the thing that ruined you is making you disciplined. The edge makes you still. In 2 months, you've made the 340,000 back. In 4, you're $500,000 ahead, and nobody at any cage in the city has looked at you twice. You could stop. You should stop. But you fly in one more time, and you walk past the same casino that took everything that first Tuesday, and something cold settles in you. Not the thump, a decision, 1 score. Then you're done. The high-limit room doesn't let in convention-goers and lanyards, so you become someone who belongs there, a quiet whale who's lost just enough on 2 earlier trips to look like he can afford to keep losing. By the time you sit down, the host knows your name and brings you a drink you won't touch. You bring 200,000. You start slow, lose 1 on purpose, let the host watch you laugh it off. Then you let the lens work. 40,000. 90. You leak a little back, you climb. By 1 a.m., you're up 480,000. Your breath even, the chip humming behind your eye, like a second pulse. 1 more. The big one. You push 300,000 across the felt, more than your house, more than your father ever saw. Onto the ring the lens lights up, and that's when your heart finally betrays you. Your pulse jumps, 130, 140, past it, and behind your eyes the picture smears and drops. The lens loses its lock. For the first time since the surgery, you're just a man at a wheel, watching a ball you can't read, with everything on the felt. The chip is dark, no number lighting up, no machine deciding, just you and a choice. The old you would chase it, you don't. You let the breath out, slow and long, the way you taught yourself in 100 elevators, and you hold. You don't add $1. You don't pull $1. You watch the wheel like everyone else watches it, on nerve, on nothing, your whole ruined and rebuilt life riding on a little white ball. The ball rattles, drops, climbs, drops again, and it catches the very edge of your ring, the last pocket the lens lit before it went dark. You win 1.05 million on a spin the machine never saw. Not because the chip was perfect, it failed you when it mattered most. You won because, for 1 spin, you were the one playing. Here's where the house always gets its money back. The greed, the just 1 more. It killed every gambler who ever sat in that chair. It killed you once already. You stand up, you tip the dealer a black chip, you color up, take the cash and the wire, and you walk out past the casino floor. And for once in your life, you don't look back at the wheel. You fly home Thursday, you pay off the house and put the money back where it came from. And one morning, before the coffee, you text your girlfriend good morning first, and you mean it. You go back to selling industrial parts in a quiet office outside Columbus, and by every measure that fits on a tax return, you're an ordinary man. But you're not. The seizures were never real, so the cure was never needed, which means there was always a clean reason on paper to go back under. A revision, a malfunction. Your brother takes the money off the table and does what the good ones do when something almost works. He takes it apart and builds it again. No drift. No 140. A version that doesn't flinch when your heart does. Stable. Quiet. Yours. And then you don't use it. The urge that ran you for 14 years is just a voice in the next room now, and you finally hold the door. Not white-knuckling it. You just decide the way you decided on that last spin. The deciding is the freedom. But it's there, behind your left ear, patient and perfect, a door that opens only from your side. Any night you chose, you could sit at any wheel in the world and stop being the side the house bets against. You never do, but you feel it light up. Every single time. That was fiction. Here's what isn't. In the late 1970s, a group of physics graduate students really did build a computer into the sole of a shoe and beat roulette in Nevada. They called themselves the Eudaemons. In 2004, a team really did walk into the Ritz in London with a scanner hidden in a phone, time the wheel, and walk out with £1.3 million. The police arrested them and then let them keep every penny because timing a wheel with a device you carry broke no law on the books. Roulette isn't random. For the few seconds the ball is dying, it's a physics problem, and physics can be solved. Everyone who ever solved it got caught the same way. They were carrying the machine. The only part of the story that's fiction is that the machine is now small enough to live behind your ear. Probably, for now.